Hi everybody, my name's Yassi. Today we're going to be cooking a tomato basil walnut pasta sauce. So I thought we'd do this week because it's really quick and easy and takes about, less than 10 minutes if you've got everything prepped, which we have here. So the first thing we're going to do is just take some walnuts. So these are just walnuts that I've chopped up pretty fine, and we're just going to roast them a little bit in this pan. So it's a bit loud, but we're going to let that roast in there for a couple of minutes. And while that's happening, I just want to tell you about a few of these ingredients. So for those of you who are not vegetarian, you might be thinking vegetarian pasta is just tomato and very boring. But what we're doing today is adding walnuts as a protein source. They also have a whole bunch of really good healthy oils in them. So this is going to be good for your brain. You know that shape of a walnut kind of looks like a brain, and it is a brain food. So that's pretty cool. Then we have some other ingredients, which are spinach, basil, nutritional yeast, which you may or may not have heard of. It is not the same as baking yeast or brewing yeast. You can buy it from the health food store. It's got heaps of vitamin B12 in it. And then we've got our tomatoes and just some spices. So once we've got a little bit of color in our nuts, we're going to remove them from the heat. So literally that only just takes, a couple of minutes, and you can just start to get that smell of them toasting. So cooking's definitely equally about following some simple instructions and also using your own creativity and your senses to be able to tell what's going to work. So I'm not always good at following instructions, but I'm good at making sure things taste good. So we've got some olive oil here. You want to have a good quality olive oil, maybe about a good tablespoon. We just let this heat up a little. And to that we're going to add about 1/4 of a chopped onion. So as I was telling you guys last week, instead of onion and garlic, you're very welcome to use asafoetida. And we'll probably start doing that next week, but this is the either or option. So we want these onions to go translucent, not brown. We need to move them around a little bit in the pot. And then you can add 1 clove of chopped garlic. So I guess these are the flavors that you sort of think of when you think of pasta, right? Like Italian sort of flavors. We've got some oregano here. This is just dried. You probably use about 1/2 teaspoon. And then as our onions start to become clear, we've just got a can, so 400 grams of chopped diced tomatoes. We mix that through, and to that we'll be adding a little bit of cracked black pepper, so maybe that's about 1/4 teaspoon. Some salt, because tomato is quite acidic, so it always needs a decent amount of salt in with it. And then I've got about a good handful of spinach, so it's just baby spinach. And at this point you could also add some other types of veggies, so you could try mushrooms, capsicum, yellow squash, anything like that would fit into this. But we're just keeping it super simple. So you can see how quickly this is coming together, and it's already looking kind of saucy. I'm gonna add our walnuts. And the walnuts give us the, meaty texture. So when you're eating them in this, it gives the flavor of nuts and that creaminess of the nuts, but also gives you something to sort of bite and chew. So really, really delicious. And then finally, we add just a little bit of chili flakes, so to your own taste. And we've got some nutritional yeast, which we talked about before. That gives a nice creaminess to our pasta or our sauce. And then we just have some fresh basil as well. So mixing all that in together. And we are just about done. So let that cook down just for, a really short time, maybe 5 minutes. We're gonna add just a tiny bit of water to this. So if your pan starts making lots of noise at you, then add water. We mix that through. Whoops, turn that down, not up. So you want that on a nice medium-low heat. And in the meantime, you have prepped some pasta. Well, I've prepped some pasta. Got a nice bowl. Today we've used fusilli pasta. It's nice, it's fun, it's curly. And to that we can add our sauce. So as you can see, the texture of this sauce is really amazing. Smells great. You want to garnish with a little pretty basil leaf. And that, my friends, is the end.